Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am going to share with you an amazing soup recipe that goes way back to 2009. It is a kale and sweet potato soup. This is the majority of the ingredients that are required. A few more things in my refrigerator, but sweet potato, Yukon Gold Potato, large onion, cumin seeds, salt, pepper, red pepper, your own grinder thing. You'll see what happens with that. Cilantro, kale, and the leeks, of course, and a nice olive oil. So I'll see you in the next part of the video. So the first thing I've done is cut off the green tops of the leeks and then slice them down the center, and then I'm going to wash them because the way leeks grow, there will always be some soil or mud in between the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse those off and then get these chopped, and you'll see that in the next frame. I've gone ahead and set the leeks aside in the bowl for a moment. The next thing is to go ahead and chop the onion up, and I've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil heating up in the soup pot. So the onion's going to go in first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and slide this into the soup pot with the olive oil, and I don't think I can do that one-handed, so hold on. Okay, so here we go with the onions. I've got this set on about 4.5. The onions are going to need to cook until they become translucent, and I'm going to add just a little sprinkle of sea salt to this. The whole recipe at this point calls for about a tablespoon of salt, but at this point just add a little bit in with the onions whilst they're cooking. So whilst this is going on, I am going to go ahead and prep the kale. So hold on a second. Did y'all know that you can perk up your greens that you get at the grocery store by putting them into a vase or pitcher of water and putting them under a plant light, and it will actually, they will start activating their chlorophyll again? Just thought I'd throw that in there for information's sake. Okay, now the onions are coming along, and let's go look at the kale. Cut out the center stems and coarse chopped the kale. That's just going to get set aside in a bowl because the next thing will be to go ahead and peel and then cube up both the sweet potato and the Yukon Gold. So it's been 20 minutes and the onions have reached that place where it is now time to go ahead and add the leeks. And then the leeks and the onions will cook for about another 20 minutes and get a little bit golden. And I had turned the heat up. I've turned it back down just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more of the salt sprinkled in here as well. I've peeled and cubed the sweet potato. I've left the peels on, but cubed the Yukon Gold. This is now going to go into another pot with 5 cups of either water or a combination of water and some sort of broth. You can either use vegetable or whatever kind of stock you have. I had the venison bone broth, so I'm going to use that with water. And this is going to cook until the potatoes are tender. So as soon as the potatoes come to a boil, I'm going to add the kale to this pot and lower this down and simmer it for 15 minutes. Meanwhile, in here, these are beginning to get a little bit golden, and it's important to keep checking this and stirring the bottom of the pot so you don't want anything to burn or stick. I'm actually going to move this pot towards the back so I can do the next step with the cumin seed, and I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, I got the onions and leeks on the back burner. I've gone ahead and stirred the kale in, lowered the temperature down. I did massage the kale leaves, kind of like when you're making a kale salad, and you just kind of crush them up a little bit by hand. So I did that before I dropped them in here. So 15 minutes on that. Meanwhile, a dry, no oil, other than what is normally on the cast iron pan, is heating up here on the front. And I'm going to sprinkle the cumin seeds on here so that they can get toasted. Waiting for these to just get a little bit toasty, and if you decide to do this, you will smell a really light cumin fragrance as these begin to toast a little bit. As soon as that happens, I will go ahead and put them into the mortar pestle and grind them up. You'll see. There we go. The cumin is ground up. Now, I need to talk to y'all about cilantro. I understand about half the population on our planet thinks it tastes like soap, and the rest of us love it. So those of you who have a dislike for cilantro, I would say with this recipe, it calls for 2/3 of a cup. If you hesitate to put any in, I promise you that somehow it magically transforms into something miraculously delicious once it's in the soup, and it will not taste like soap. But use your own discretion. I really think it adds another dimension of flavor to this amazing recipe. Also, you're going to want to chop up some green onions. I had less than I thought I did, but I think with the leeks and the regular onion, it's going to be just fine. All right, let's put this thing together. What do you say? Potatoes and kale are tender. I'm going to carefully pour what's in this pot into what's in this pot. So give me just a moment. Everything is in the pot. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the green onions, and also I'm going to go ahead and put the cilantro in. So just give me a second. There we go. So the onions are in, the cilantro is in. Now, this recipe also calls for lemon juice, and as you all know, I pre-do my lemons and freeze them in ice cube trays. I'll link that video below this one, so y'all will have that in case you've not done that before. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a cube of lemon juice to this, and then I'm going to get the toasted cumin seeds and put those in as well. There we go. Mix all of this in. This will just stay on simmer for about another 10 minutes. And then you will see what happens when this gets ladled into the bowls. I wish, once again, y'all could have a whiff of how magnificent this soup smells. It's really, really good. All right, hold on for just a moment while this cooks, and I'll be back with a bowl. I almost forgot. You want to add some fresh cracked ground pepper and some kind of red pepper, crushed red pepper, cayenne pepper, depending on how hot you like stuff. So those two things will also go in. Below the video, I will have all the ingredients listed as well as the basic instructions. I really hope y'all are going to make this. You won't be sorry. Finally, add some feta cheese, some olive oil, and a little bit of salt if it seems like your bowl of soup requires additional salt. I'll show you that in just a moment. And there it is. So fragrant and so beautiful. And offer you all the first bite. This soup, without the feta and the additional olive oil, can be frozen and reheated. But once you put the feta cheese into it and the extra olive oil, it needs to be consumed in the moment. I really, really hope y'all will try this today at 5:24 Eastern Daylight Time. Spring arrives, and I'm wishing you a beautiful spring season. See you in the next video. Till then.